Around the same time the MLP infection AU boom was happening, similar horror AUs were developing across different fandoms. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Ben 10 and the Carnitrix. This story was originally created by Cannibal099 on TikTok. They are an amazing artist. Everyone, please go check them out! This story begins with Azmuth. However, the author made a point to tell us that Azmuth is not to be confused with the same Azmuth in the original show, but rather he just shares the same name and is a part of the same species, the Galvin species. Low-key, Galvins look like if frogs and E.T. had a baby. Anyways, unlike in the Ben 10 we grew up with, in this universe, Azmuth despised all alien species except for his own. Yep, we're dealing with an alien Hitler, guys. A cosmic tyrant who wished to inflict eternal suffering. However, his story falls a bit short. In order to achieve his plan, he created the Carnitrix. On one hand, the Omnitrix was developed to bring species together in hopes that they could better understand one another. Additionally, it also had the capability to preserve alien DNA. However, the Carnitrix was developed to reap devastation on alien civilizations. Once Vilgax and Tetrax, who are essentially like a class of police officers in this universe, hear about what is going on, they make plans to pay Azmuth a little visit. Once hearing this, Azmuth managed to dispatch the unfinished prototype to Earth just in time. To avoid confrontation, Azmuth took his own life, leaving behind a suicide note. If I don't cause pain and agony, someone else will. Just like in the original story, Ben has gone camping with his grandpa and cousin. He stumbles upon the Carnitrix in a similar fashion and out of curiosity, reaches for it. The tentacles pierce Ben's flesh and start to change him at the cellular level. Ben's body convulses uncontrollably, his skin blisters and chars, his bones start to break and his organs begin to rupture. He was in agony. He transformed into a hellish creature ready to unleash pain and suffering into this world. It is also important to note that when Ben transforms, he has zero control over his body, but he is just a mere observer. If you are a JHG fan, kind of think of it as when Itadori transforms into Sukuna. Gwen finds Ben in the cursed heat blast form. An important thing to point out is that the Carnitrix activates when it detects a threat within 20 meters. So, I don't know, maybe Gwen called Ben a doofus too many times.
Doofus?
The nightmare begins. Heat Blast grabbed Gwen's face and started searing her face off. Unfortunately, it was her natural instincts to start clawing at his arm in a desperate attempt to escape. This only caused the skin on her fingers and palms to sizzle. With horrifying strength, Heat Blast lifted her up and used his monstrous strength and crushed her skull. There was nothing Ben could do but watch as his cousin died in this gruesome way. And that was just the beginning. His grandfather followed Gwen's screams. That was a mistake. Ben began to change and to accelerate. If you've seen the show called The Boys, I think you know where this is going. 700 kilometers per hour. Nothing left but a leg. The military tried to stop Ben, but their guns didn't work. Dang it. Azmuth's dream was becoming a reality. Eventually, Alien X came out. In the original show, Alien X came from a sample of the Celestial Sapien. Celestial Sapiens have the power to warp reality, time, and space. They can reverse events, control minds, use telekinesis, shapeshift, teleport, and so much more.
Damn!
Well, but all I know now is that I'm prepared for my next super fight round. If I draw a blank card, I know exactly who I'm gonna say. Back to the story, in this universe, Alien X is mixed with both Celestial Sapien and Azmuth's DNA to create a monster. He wiped out the military and next came the universe. Professor Paradox, aided by the original Azmuth, gathered an army of Bens from alternate timelines. Ultimately, it was Ben 10K who was able to put a stop to him. He transformed into Atomic X and performed a powerful long-range attack. That way, he was able to stay out of the Carnitrix threat zone. With precision, Ben 10K's attack severed Ben's arm and obliterated the Carnitrix entirely. Fortunately afterwards, the Celestial Sapiens were able to restore the universe. However, Ben found himself tormented by his past, gripped by relentless PTSD that followed him into adulthood. He was haunted by the blood he spilled, the lives he took, and the screams he heard. In a mirror, he no longer saw himself, but only the monstrous aliens he would turn into. They were dead, but in Ben's head, they still lived. Ben didn't want to live like this anymore. One day, many years later, Professor Paradox came and paid him a little visit to see how he was doing. Ben pleaded with him if he could turn back time so that he could stop himself from ever touching the Carnitrix. That way, none of the horrifying events would have ever happened. Professor Paradox warned him that if this were to happen, he would be wiped from existence. Ben said it was okay. After informing Ben, Professor Paradox created a portal, and Ben was then transported to the past. He was able to prevent his younger self from ever touching it. Yay! Don't you guys love a happy ending? But that leaves the question, what happened to the Carnitrix? Some people theorize that Vilgax and Tetrax came to retrieve it, but really, who knows? But yeah, that is my video on the Carnitrix. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the content and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe. This is really different than the videos I've been uploading because I've been doing a lot of reaction style content. So what do you guys think of this? When you want to see more, please let me know in the comments below. The Carnitrix AU inspired so many people to start creating content of their own. I included artwork from comics, animations, and even a music video. As always, all the original creators will be linked below. Please go check them out. Bye!